Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Seth, and in today's video we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be talking to you about my favorites and how my rating system works. And along the way you might get to know a little bit about me. Now, how my system works rating wise is, I know I say I do it out of 5 stars, with half of a star being the lowest, 5 stars being the highest. But how it works is half of a star to 2 stars is the low category and the bad category. Now, I know that it's hard to be making a movie and we all don't know the process that it was made in it or the vision that they had in the beginning stages, but to me, half of a star to 2 stars means I just didn't understand it. To technically, on the bad, it was on the bad side, yeah. 2.5 to 3 stars is its average. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. To me, I just thought it was entertainment. And for some of those movies, I would rewatch. Now, 3.5 stars, it was good. Still needs some work, in my opinion, but I did enjoy it and I would rewatch. 4 stars, we're getting into the great category. And I would highly recommend and highly rewatch, and I just loved the movie. 4.5 stars, it's almost perfect. There was like 1 or 2 things missing, but I would highly recommend and I would highly rewatch. 5 stars, it was perfect. The acting, the direction, the story, the cinematography, the design, how the story played along, all were just great. And I would highly recommend and I would highly buy it on DVD. Now, buying onto that, I am a physical media collector. I like to buy DVDs and TV series boxes, complete sets. Something that I like to do, and anytime I want to watch a movie that I have, I can just pop it in, and I like that. Some of the genres that I like to watch is horror, superheroes, action, and a lot of other things. It's really hard for me not to be persuaded into watching a movie. Now on to my favorites, and there's going to be some lists I'm going to be doing. They're going to be out of 5. They're going to be in no particular order. Now, I like a lot of these things, but the people who I have on this are going to be just kept coming through my mind. And I'm going to starting with favorite directors, with the first one being Christopher Nolan. Now, I love his movie making process and how passionate he is about movies and his skill and talent, and I cannot wait to see his next movie, The Odyssey, that comes out in July. Heard it was shot entirely on IMAX cameras, which I cannot wait to see that masterpiece. Second would be Steven Spielberg. He has such a variety in his filmography, and I love that about him. He can do a great drama movie, to a great sci-fi movie, to a great action movie, to even a great kids movie, and that's just what I love about him. He's got skill and talent. Third is Greta Gerwig. I love her acting, her writing, and her direction that she wants to take in her movies. She knows what she wants to do, and I like that. That was my third, sorry. Fourth would be Damien Chazelle. Damien Chazelle makes some movies about the movie making process, like La La Land and Babylon, and both of those were 5 out of 5s. And I just love what he does, too. I mean, Whiplash wasn't a movie about making a movie, but it was 5 out of 5. Also, too, anything he's in, I will be watching. He's just that good to me. And fifth would be Hayao Miyazaki. Now, I'm a Studio Ghibli fan. I've seen almost all their movies, and to me, my favorite movie out of him is Spirited Away. Now, I know that's everybody's favorite, but it's so good that it's hard not to beat. Also, too, I think it is a great job of his animation style and how realistic some of his characters can be. And next, for my favorite actors, we have first Timothée Chalamet. Now, I started watching Timothée Chalamet when he was in Beautiful Boy, and that was such a good movie. And ever since then, I've just rewatched a lot of his stuff. He's just always a great actor. He's really talented, and he has such just a drive to be great. My favorite performance out of him would be Marty Supreme. As I said, he's got a drive, and he's so great, and that's what the movie, in a sense, is. So yeah. Second would be Leonardo DiCaprio. When you think of acting or actors, Leonardo DiCaprio is in that list. For people who don't even like movies, if he's in the movie, people are going to watch it. He just got such a devotion to what he does. My favorite role he's been in is Wolf of Wall Street. as I say, the devotion and just the amount he's willing to do to give a great performance. Third would be Jack O'Connell. Now, I've not seen all of his movies, but every movie he's been in, he's been the star of the show. I think Sinners is my best performance of him. He's so charismatic that, heck, even if I was in that universe, I'd probably be bitten. Fourth would be Denzel Washington. I mean, come on. It's Denzel Washington. We all know he's great. From the Equalizer franchise to John Q, that was one of mine, to even Training Day, which is my favorite performance out of him. He's just great. Lastly, we have Ethan Hawke. Now, I love Ethan Hawke is because in some of his interviews, he talks about the acting process and the love he just has for this, and that's very just admirable. I love people who are very passionate about what they do and love talking about it. My favorite performance out of him would be The First Reformed. Okay, next, and for my favorite actresses, we have Florence Pugh. Now, I think Florence Pugh is one of the best actors we have working right now. I love her in a lot of her roles. She can do a lot of serious roles, but she also can do some comedy roles. And I think my favorite movie in her is Midsommar. That is a hard movie to act because it's showing a lot of emotions. Next would be Mia Goth. Now, anybody who knows me knows that I'm a big Mia Goth fan. I loved her in almost everything she's been in. I do say my favorite performance out of her is Pearl. The ending monologue is just, oof, that's skill right there. And same too with the end credit scene where she's just smiling for the last like 5 minutes and not breaking. That's skill, that's talent right there. My third one would be Jenna Ortega. Now, I love Jenna Ortega's acting, but I also love her as a person. In her interviews, she's so passionate about what she does, she's so caring, and so smart, too. And I just think overall, great person and great actress. Now, my favorite performance of her is not a movie role, it is a TV series role, and that would be Wednesday. I just think she's perfect for the role. Fourth would be Hailee Steinfeld. Now, Hailee Steinfeld first movie acting role was True Grit at 14, and she won an Oscar nomination for that. I mean, that's skill, man, at that age, to win at that young. Also, too, she's in so many popular franchises that always do so well. The Spider-Verse universe, the MCU universe, and I know it's not a franchise, but Sinners was also such a great movie. My favorite movie of hers that she was in is Age of 17. It is a teenage angst movie. And lastly, Margot Robbie. I started watching Margot Robbie when she played as Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad and fell in love with her acting. She is just phenomenal. And I've watched a majority of her things. I would say the best movie that I think she's in, acting-wise, is I, Tonya. That's the level 2 of like Timothy Chalamet, Marty Supreme, to Leonardo DiCaprio and Wolf of Wall Street. They are just wanting to show you how great they are and show their talents and skills. And lastly, to my favorite movies. Now, a lot of these movies I have on DVD, with the first one being La La Land. You know, as I said, Damien Chazelle, I think this movie is a 5 out of 5. I think it is a realistic version too, in a sense, of what it's like in the entertainment thing, to get into it, and that if you have a dream, just keep going for it, man. It'll find its way eventually. And who doesn't love Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone? Secondly, on my list would be Perfect Blue. It is a Satoshi Kon film, may he rest in peace. And this movie is a great thing about how celebrityism and internet fame can be very damaging to some people. And this was made in 1997 on the early stages of the internet, and even before social media came along. So a genius Satoshi Kon was to know that this was going to be happening in the later years. Also too, I think this movie does a great job of talking about how women are mishandled in the entertainment industry sometimes. Also, the animation and of it story is just great. All around 5 out of 5. Third on the list would be Ebert Goes West. And this kind of does a lot too with social media too. Also has a stellar cast with Aubrey Plaza, Elizabeth Olsen, Osage Jackson Jr., Wyatt Russell, and so many more great actors and actresses. This movie too talks about the influencer life too, and how some people use social media as a grieving process, and it has an open ending movie that I think does so well. Now, I'm not a big open ending scene kind of person, but this does a great job of it. Fourth would be First Reformed. It is my favorite Ethan Hawke performance. Now, it also has Amanda Seyfried in this too, and this is such a great movie. Ethan Hawke is a pastor that's dealing with a lot of grief and some health problems, and he meets Amanda Seyfried one day, she's pregnant, and her husband is a climate change activist who is very scared to bring this baby into the world because of all the pollution and what might happen in the upcoming years, of Earth and stuff. And it just does a lot of that too, and one of the scenes and one of the lines in the scenes just keeps coming at me, and I keep thinking about it on like a weekly basis, and that's Ethan Hawke talking to some of the pastors and CEOs, being like, will God ever forgive us for what we did to his creation, that being Earth? And that's such a hard-hitting, like, ooh, hit you in the chest line, because we don't know. And I think this movie does a great just talking about that topic. And it's an open ending scene too, where it's kind of a what happened really in a sense. But overall, great movie. And the last one being The Menu. Now, I don't have The Menu on DVD. I should, but I don't have it on DVD. The Menu is great with Ralph Fiennes in it. Anya Taylor-Joy and Nicholas Hoult are phenomenal in that. And it's a movie too about creativeness versus commerce. If you have a skill or a talent and you want to make money out of it, it's great. But the financial people, most of the time, don't have a creative bone in their body, and they want you to tweak some things or to completely just do something different that you were known for. And this also too does a great job of talking about, like, if you ever worked a customer service job, how draining that can be. And you just, after a while, you just lose your passion for some things that you were really great at. And it's also a great thriller movie. And I think it's just a really great movie. That's 5 out of 5 for me. Now, those were my top 5 movies, my top 5 directors, actors, and actresses. Now, if you do want to get to follow me on something, I do have a letterbox that will be in the description. As always, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and goodbye.